Cool. Let's get Craig. Here we go. All right, Craig, you're gonna work now. Don't be a schmuck.
Don't be that guy, Craig.
Hey.
Now recording.
That boy, Craig.
We're in.
All right.
All right. Hello and welcome everybody to episode 5 of XN Interviews. I'm XN, and my guest today is the man that has created an entire community of alliances, Moose. What's going on, Moose?
What's going on, man? Just hanging out, man. Today, it's been a fun MCoC filled day. We've been hanging out with the People's Champ and his fundraiser over there for our boy Tom Harrington. But other than that, man, just hanging out, man. Thanks for considering me as worthy enough to be a guest on XN Interviews, man. It's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to it. I have been actually for some time now.
Yeah, dude. No problem. So let's start it off. When did you start playing MCoC, and what caught your eye about it?
For sure, man. So I started December 2015. I want to say it was actually like the 15th or 16th, to be honest with you, because I think when you like change your name or when you send in a ticket or something like that, they always they ask you like, what was your first day, your first like purchase or whatever. So I want to say it was middle of December 2015. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I remember just kind of probably sitting around watching hockey, because I do distinctly remember it being on a NHL Network commercial. It's funny. I'm actually writing an article right now, kind of like like my whole story up until now from MCoC, just basically like the journey and all that stuff. And it was funny because where I was going with this was I found the actual commercial that I remember watching. So so no, I remember it was a commercial on the NHL Network. And yeah, man. As far as like what caught my eye, I would say it was just like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I played both of those games extensively growing up. So right. Blanca was my character for sure in Street Fighter, and also Ken. I loved him. I loved just getting down there and just low kicks all day long. Nobody could do nothing if you're just low kicking all day long.
And then you just throw up into a ball and just shock them all day.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I dug it, and I forgot what it was. I think I had the time, so I started playing it, and it was just a fun game, man. All the Marvel movies coming out, I think, at the time, and everybody was just into it, and then it was just like Street Fighter, so it made sense to kind of pick it up and start playing. And I feel like it was also a time when the game was simpler. But I also do remember being super excited because I want to say it was like Groot that came out that month. And there was the Deadpool symbioids, I think they were. So that whole month and that whole couple months there of events is really what kind of drug me in and definitely kept me in for sure. But then I mean, I think after like a couple months, it was really just the alliance aspect that I got into the planet of the symbiotes empire. And then it just kind of went on from there.
Yeah. So you created 16 alliances out of that. building a community. Was that before or after you started getting into Twitter and all that and creating models for crystals and stuff?
For sure, man. Yeah, so I just also want to probably, I mean, I guess set the record straight or be clear. I didn't actually create all 16 of them. I've probably created 16 in my time, but not all of them have like been super successful. I always credit a solid leadership core group. I can't always do it on my own. I have my strengths, and other leaders and officers have their strengths. And that's, kind of where the community just came from, honestly. But yeah, so I didn't make all of them. A couple of them, I guess we would say would probably be like absorbed by the community. Just maybe other people branching out or just really kind of, wanting, like understanding and enjoying the community aspect of the game. And then just, with while I'm out there recruiting, we just get to talking and one thing leads to another and they just want to be part of the community. So, as far as I've probably made, I don't know, I to be honest with you, I don't keep track. But I probably made like 10 of them, I'd say. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's been quite the journey. I started doing it really just out of, I don't know. It was really one of those things where it was kind of just like pay it forward. So when I first started playing the game, it wasn't really, what's it called? It was like, I don't know. The game was more difficult. I also probably wasn't paying like super close attention. So those folks before me, Hype specifically was his name, his handle. But he definitely like was the one who reached out and took the time to kind of like help me out with my masteries and things like that. So, and then that really changed my gaming experience, made the gaming experience more fun. And, it just kind of like snowballed from there. And I think from there was when, he really like, it just was really instilled in me. Like it's people are still taking the time or taking a couple minutes out of their day to, help the other person as far as like a video game. Cause I think we're all like, as far as me, when I was growing up, I'm 35, I think. Yeah, I'm 35. Am I 36? No, I think I'm 35. Yeah, I'm 35. But anyway, so like, so growing up, like video games, there was the internet and multiplayer games and all that stuff is very different. So, the fact that there was like this community and hobby and all that stuff that was more involved and is probably what drew me in as far as like just playing the game and just like enjoying the community aspect and all that stuff. So the more, I don't know, just I think that grew, right? So from then on is really when it grew to me, like really appreciating the people aspect of the game, which I think is a perfect day, really, right? Because we're all kind of coming together for one of our own, Tom Harrington, who's been there for a lot of people when their channels are growing and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I saw that early on, right? And so when a good person came and like maybe they couldn't stay in the alliance or something like that, it grew from there. Like, right, it grew from I'd like you to stick around because you're a cool dude, and at the end of the day, it's just a video game. I had a couple extra minutes to spare, so why don't I just make another alliance?
Right, or finding alliance that'll fit your needs or whatever.
Exactly, right. But yeah, so doing all that, I was really kind of stuck in that whole bubble for like a very long time. For I guess, I don't know, for 4 or 5 years, because it wasn't up until I started wanting to do the podcast that I actually started branching out into like Twitter and the rest of the MCoC community. And so, yeah, more or less, I guess to answer your question directly, I built the community really, and then was like, oh man, I think it'd be cool to do a podcast. Honestly, the game is really changing to where I feel like the kind of alliance aspect is changing a lot in a way. And if you followed the podcast at all, you've understood. But at the end of the day, I feel like they're really trying to take the group voice away from the leadership group. So maybe I foresaw that or whatever, but I've started branching out into more doing the podcast and kind of getting out on Twitter and met awesome people, which are actually three of the awesome four. Everybody in this chat room that's listening right now, I think, is some awesome people that I've met along the way. So it's definitely been quite the journey coming out of the little empire, community bubble and into Twitter and YouTube and stuff. And it's been awesome, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, about how long after you started playing the game did you want to start making the crystals or get into making the crystals for 3D printing?
Yeah, no, for sure. So, I would say, I don't know, I'm trying to think. The other day, or when somebody somebody like kind of asked something similar to that, and I was like, did I know ever, like, I'm trying to think of when I really got into 3D printing. I've been into 3D printing for a long time, but ever since I really, instead of just like downloading the, kind of files online or whatever and just printing them, kind of creating or just wanting to physically have something, I want to say it was probably around the same time that I got into both things. So pretty much from the beginning, I've just saw these crystals and like the catalysts and things like that. And I was like, wow, it'd be so cool to just have that on the desk or, just see them physically in person. So really from the jump, I've always kind of wanted to do it. And over the time I've always paid or, cause my 3D sculpting skills are nothing like, like Calentak's, he's over there in the Futurism Society. Like his sculpting skills are quite amazing. And mine are nowhere near that. And never, I don't, I just now, I feel like I've been kind of getting into doing things like that. But my thing is kind of more or less using the tools that I have on hand. And I was never, it was just, one thing led to another. And I've always like kind of either tried building them from scratch or, just kind of making everything. And it was a long road, but I've always wanted to do it from probably the beginning of playing the game, of just wanting to see the crystal. It's always been cool. And like, I never understood why they hadn't done it. They spend all the time making like the board game and stuff, right? Like, and they even made them for like, the New York Comic-Con, right? I forgot which one it was. Yeah, and they were like kind of small or, whatever. And I was like, oh, they're cool. And like, I'm surprised they never like made more. And it's funny, every time I put them out there, everybody's like, you need to make them open up and champs come out. And to me, I don't know how they haven't done that yet, right? Which I'm still working on.
Right, like a little Pokeball or something.
Exactly, right? Like,
come out of it. Yeah.
How have they not done that? Or with all the little like, Lego minifigure, like grab bags, like how have you not even just done something like that, right? Like,
right, yeah,
it's
that
crazy
cool.
to me. But so I've always wanted to 3D print stuff. I love creating things, and 3D printing is a great way to do that.
Right. Does that take like a certain type of program to do that, or do you have to? I mean, you obviously have to have a 3D printer. How much is something like that in there? I mean, that's a pretty expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah, I mean they can be, I mean there's a lot of companies out there who make it pretty, budget friendly, I guess, depending on what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. But the ones I have were roughly about 200 USD, and so it's pricey, yeah. But it depends. It's like some people I think would easily spend that on a couple Odins and some crystals and stuff like that, which I did at one point too. So, I don't, I don't knock that at all. It's a hobby, right? And so we're all put time and money into our hobbies. And I feel like that, like, cause me, I love like just making things from scratch, right? Like, one of the stories I kind of always tell when talking about just how cool and interesting 3D printing is, so like my dad like was looking around for 3 or 4 days for like just like a coupling to put two hoses together, and it was simply 4 inches, but every 4-inch coupling he got never worked, and it was days and days. It was probably about a week of him actually doing it, and finally I was like, oh hey, let me just take a look at it. I took a couple measurements, and like 3-4 hours later he had a coupling that fit perfectly. So right. I just feel like just that right there, to me, it's practical, it's awesome. And I don't know, my mind always thinks that way anyway. So like, why not be able to have something like that? So, to me, I guess I kind of think of it as a tool. So,
ingenuity.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess to me, it's not like a fun thing. It's more or less like a tool. So, I guess the price on tools kind of varies, right? Your car, it's a
Yeah,
tool, right? So you kind of
yeah, you use it. Yeah, go ahead.
exactly. No, no, that's really I kind of had nothing else to say, so I was kind of glad you were going to talk.
Um, so, what was I gonna say? Fuck. Well, I lost it. I don't
It's
know.
okay. 3D printing, man. Like maybe like I don't know what
Yeah.
got me into 3D
Okay.
printing
Yeah, yeah. What? There you go. What got you into 3D printing?
or probably everything I was really just talking about. Honestly, just the fact that you could just
Yeah,
take something from nothing
yeah.
and make it into it. But oh, I remember you were asking like
Okay.
programs and
Yeah,
things like that. So
yeah, yeah.
um,
Okay.
yeah, there are programs that come with these 3D printers. So at the end of the day, it's really simple for anybody to kind of pick up and do. Now, I would say, and I always kind of start off conversations about 3D printing and just saying like you need to be a patient person and somebody who's willing to like tinker with excuse me, like tinker with things because they're fickle, like they're finicky. They like the smallest thing could not be working and you could spend 4 hours trying to fix the wrong thing. Tighten one screw, that takes you 3 seconds, and everything's fixed. So um,
Right.
they're very crazy tools, but at the end of the day, like they're kind of easy to use as far as like the computer goes. Like as long as you have a very simple computer, it spits out. Like you could just put in like a model, and you just say, you give it like some parameters like the resolution and things like that, and then it'll just kind of spit out the code for the machine. And yeah, it's relatively simple computer wise. Mechanically, I feel like would probably be where it's like more difficult to comprehend, or more
Yeah.
tinkering is involved, I guess.
Sounds very delicate.
It can be for sure, absolutely, man. It like, there's this guy I'm helping. He's just got a 3D printer and he's been doing stuff too. And I remember randomly he just hit me up. He's like, "I'm gonna drop this thing off a cliff today, man." And I'm like, I've been there, bro. I've been there, and I think I spent, we spent just like kind of half the day just kind of going back and forth, and finally I was just like, "Have you tried this yet?" And it maybe it took him like an hour to do or whatever, and ever since it's been working perfectly. So you can easily go from wanting to throw something off a cliff to just being happy and just going along, like Dora, just keep swimming.
Right.
Dory,
Yeah.
one day to the next, which honestly, right, is a lot like MCOC. Am I wrong, right?
No,
You
not
could
at
just
all.
you can get beat up and tortured for weeks with your poles, and then all of a sudden you get like an egg on or dupe your egg on or something. You're like, oh, cool, this game's fun again.
Right.
Right.
Um. So yeah. Did that kind of like push you towards doing the podcast after you started making the crystals, or did you start doing that around the same time?
So I don't think the crystals really had. They don't. I don't. To me, they don't go hand in hand. To me, if
Okay.
anything, I think the podcast was maybe a way for me to, or for people to kind of like, for me to get out there, right? I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge. It may not be like which champ to use for which path, but I've gained a lot of knowledge playing this game, and I feel like I could share it. So uh, that was kind of the whole reason for the podcast. And then, I just like doing crystal. I've always kind of 3D printed stuff and made stuff and made t-shirts and stuff for like the whole community. And I think if anything, tying them together is just, hey, check out this cool stuff that everybody else seems to like that I do. By the way, come listen to me, talk for an hour. So I guess
Yeah.
that's how I look at like the two tied together.
Yeah. So once you all got this started, was the incursions tournament the next big step for the podcast and the NC Lounge?
I think so, man. Honestly, I mean, I remember when Super Gaming was on. He was like, "Hey guys, I got this idea. with this incursions thing and stuff. And I was like, all right, cool, man, let's talk about it. And he had brought up the idea of doing a tournament, and I was like, what a fantastic idea, a great idea. And I think ever since then, I'd wanted to, I think it was the back burner because I was still like, kind of building communities and alliances and things like that. It was always like kind of in the back of my mind to do incursions tournament and do it and host them at least online. Like I originally, when I was making the mclounge.bar website, I had a spot for incursions because I just wanted people to like at least just host their own incursions on the website, because I think there's easier modules to build onto it that like is not necessarily geared towards a video game or geared towards the way we're using it yet. I feel like going back to the whole ingenuity thing, I could take something that other people use for something and turn it into what we're using. So that was kind of my whole idea behind the incursions tournament. And I also wanted to make one where everybody would be included. So because that was always probably the purpose behind the empires anyways, in the alliances, is I wanted everybody to be included. So doing, it was always in the back of my head, like Sector 8 tournaments. Yeah, they're cool, they're fun. You get some really big names, some really talented, people who play the game. But to me, it's more fun, to have somebody using their 4 stars, going up against, some of the top talent, or just, showing that they actually have talent too. So, yeah. So to answer your question, it kind of has always been in the back of my mind to do the tournaments and stuff like that. And honestly, I really I didn't have anything much. I didn't much have to do with this, these ideas on this particular tournament. Swagger, he did the Incursions Fest, which is currently going on, or they just ended. I think Yeet and Hector won. And then, so they were talking about something, and GhostDog was just like, "Hey man, do you want to host? You want to host a tournament?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I want to host a tournament. That's what I've been wanting to do."
Yeah.
So then, I think just one thing came to another. We just, all 3 of us got together and started doing it.
Right on. Yeah. So there's, how many teams do you have so far?
I think we're at like 56. We fell short of 64 a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that was a lofty, they were like when we first 3 got together, they were like, "Oh, we should try for 64." And I was like, "Try, let's just do it. Like, why, how would we not get 64?" And I guess we fell a little short. I guess I don't know. I like to bite off more than I can chew, I guess, sometimes, but, or it's my eyes, or yeah, it's like my eyes have always been bigger than like my stomach kind of thing. Right. So, so yeah, we're at like 56, something like that. So the first rounds are going to be interesting. There may be like a bye week or something like that, but that is definitely something we're going to go over tomorrow on our podcast. But yeah, so we're doing, I think it's like 56 right now.
Okay. So after you set up the Incursions tournament, you set up a cool little module on the MC Lounge website. It was a poster. You can design your own poster for your own alliance. You want to talk a little bit about that?
For sure, man. Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up. I absolutely that was something that was probably, that's always been in the back of my head, because I've always helped like the other leaders recruit. I think that was probably one of my greatest skills, I guess, at building alliances, was recruiting, and maybe it's just like the people skills, like talking to people and things like that. But recruiting was always, kind of something that I never shied away from, and I think I was good at it because I always did it, I guess. But I also found that, like, cool pictures and graphics and stuff like that got at least more people talking to you, more people saying, "Hey," right. More opportunity, right, to have a conversation with people. So I would always make them, and you could do them on certain programs where they had like certain layers, right? So all you had to do was kind of change the text, and I would do that a lot for some of the other leaders and things like that. So it was always in the back of my head to have a website, or at least some way of somebody doing that, of being able of having some sort of module where you could just go on, just change the wording to fit your own alliance and just pop it out. So I was actually, glad I was able to finally put that out. I think it's going well. It's getting there. I think it's smoothing out, if you will. But
Yeah,
no,
no doubt.
I'm proud of it for sure. And Jax, he's here. He's definitely helped me out with some of the graphics, some of the templates as well, and his feedback on kind of gearing it towards a pleasant experience. So definitely thank you for that, Jax. And it's been cool doing it.
Yeah. So, uh, what's the next thing? Have you worked on the Battle Realm radio at all since the last time we talked?
No, no, I have not
Okay.
done the Battle Realm radio. That is, it's in, so instead of being on the back burner now, it's now, I guess, more or less in like my pocket, if you will. It's a little
Right. Okay.
closer for me to kind of like, start getting towards, but, so yeah, I mean, that's one thing I definitely look forward to, but what I actually was going to start, it was funny, was I was going to start this week. But while doing those templates and the recruiting posters and stuff, and then alongside seeing the Futurism Society and those guys and gals put together their tournament, I was like, oh, it makes a lot of sense to make the bracket on the template as well. Like it just seemed, pretty simple to
Right.
put two and two together. So yeah, so that's really what I was working on this past week was making those like kind of bracket modules the
Yeah.
same way
You
as the
want to talk
template
about those?
modules. Yeah, no, I mean exactly. Like that tournament seems fun. I mean, that's really. I did a video this morning. They're super fun. It's gonna be simple. All you really have to do is kind of drag and drop and pick your whichever champ you think's gonna win. I think they're super fun. You get to learn a lot about kind of obscure champs in the games. When I was doing some research and kind of making the little name plates and things like that, I ran across a couple of champs that aren't on those lists, but are also very obscure Marvel champs. Like one of them was Fool Killer. Um, he's kind of, I don't know, like
Cool.
Dare. Yeah, he's kind of like Deadpool-ish, the mercenary type guy, but I don't know. He
Okay.
seemed super cool, so that kind of threw me on a tangent this morning, but or like yesterday or whatever. But yeah, it does. It's been fun. So yeah, I just decided to put that together. But then I was gonna start working on the Battle Realm radio, which I'm definitely looking forward to, man. Definitely
Yeah.
looking forward to that. It's been fun.
Okay. So what kind of future plans do you have for the MC Lounge, or can you talk about anything like that yet?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I don't mind talking about anything. I'm an open book.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean the future plans. I mean, really just kind of like ironing things out at the most part, like, and just just kind of getting more people involved. Just more. Like the point of the MC Lounge is not for me. It's not like to kind of get my name out there or anything. It's more or less to get other people out there. Like the idea is kind of like a magazine, right?
Right.
Like if you have like a video game magazine, like even just see if it's one for one particular video game, it'll have all the different aspects of that video game. It'll have, the different content creators, people making guides, the fun stuff, like fun little, um, just fun little like columns where people can like, like who, what do you think like Long Shot does on Saturday nights or something, dumb things like that. But it's fun, it's entertaining,
Yeah.
so I don't know. That's really kind of my vision for the website is just to be like a variety website. But yeah, I mean, the future, the Battle Realm radios is something that I'm really into. Like I've been really enjoying those chilling with mooses, just kind of like making playlists and just kind of like being the little, DJ popping in here and there and just talking and delivering news. I do have a handful of shows, I guess, planned for that. I know it's the holidays, so it's a busy time, but we have some, I think LC, he's not around, but LC Music Tracks, he came up with the idea of doing a trivia show, like a trivia radio show. So that's something that we'll eventually do for the radio, which I think
Oh,
sounds
that's
super
cool.
fun, right? Just kind of like play
Yeah.
some music and then have like, just like 5-10 questions where you can just answer. Maybe they're MCoC related and probably answer them on the website and then maybe, get entered into a contest or something for some cool giveaway. Um, you know,
Yeah.
things like that.
That sounds
What
pretty
else?
cool.
yeah, you know, and then I just one of the things I it's kind of, if anybody ever goes on there, which I'm sure they don't, because no, they don't, because I've checked. Excuse me, but you know, like I want to update it each week for like arena champions. You know, like have their stories, or have just just the things all radio shows have, but just more for MCOC. You know, I feel like the game is big enough, right? The game is big enough to have that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't, which is I don't know. It's weird to me. And I feel like is that not like from the game? Like, wouldn't your game kind of initiate those kind of community building aspects? Like, don't you think EA has people that go out and like build these things for, their fans to kind of interact with them? I don't understand why Kabam doesn't do that, right?
Yeah. Or even big companies like Bethesda with like Skyrim and Elder Scrolls and stuff like that.
Exactly. And is this game not that big? I mean, they make what, $15 million a quarter? What is that, $60 million a year?
A lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they could, stand to like give some back to the community and start building some and like, doing some of that.
Right. Totally. So have you applied to become a content creator program or no?
No, it's funny. I joke sometimes because when people ask that, I'm like, "Oh, so you haven't listened to the first few episodes of the podcast?" But no, it's funny. You've been there from the beginning, and it's you're interviewing me. But yeah, no. So my stance, I have applied for the CCP, and I did apply for the CCP actually probably at the beginning of when I started doing the podcast. Because I felt like building a community of 16 alliances, which is 400 plus people, was enough to have, I guess, enough clout to be part of the cool kids crowd. But I was simply turned down with I think it was maybe a sentence or two. Just no, and I didn't have 500 followers on my YouTube, which was the reason why I was not accepted. So, which was cool, like I understand, and I was more, like they have their parameters and all that stuff, and which it was funny because like I think 2 weeks later, another podcast had somebody, kind of join their groups who had zero social media, and they were entered into the CCP with open arms almost immediately. So, all of that just kind of coupled with getting to know, getting out into the community more and stuff like that. Like, I feel like I don't know, my stance on the CCP, I don't know if it changes day to day or like if I'm still kind of ironing it out, if you will. I do think that having that initial extra information is cool and fun, and it depends on how people use it. I don't think a lot of the folks use it creatively enough. However, at the end of the day, they're just making cool videos about crystal openings and how to use champs, which I thank them for using those because I watch them. So I think my stance on the CCP is very different. How other people would use it, like I would use it as probably more of like questioning what the developers are doing as opposed to using it to like show off, the new champ. So I don't know if like I have goals in the future of getting there, but like, I did apply, was turned down. And I don't know if I, intend on applying again.
Yeah. No, that's totally understandable. J-Ax is asking, how did they respond to you?
Yeah. So when you applied, I don't know if the application was different. I know it's changed. Like, I think 2 weeks after I went, it was like, people said you needed like 1,000 subs at that point. They got back to me relatively quick, honestly, from the email that was in there. And maybe because, I don't know how they got back to me quick, but I also have seen a lot of people say they haven't gotten back to you very quick. And I think honestly what they're doing, why they haven't gotten back to people very quick, from my viewing is, like for instance, like JX, you're saying they maybe haven't gotten back to you. I feel like they're waiting to see the more that you do, right? So they're just, now that they kind of have their eye on you, and now they're just looking and just verifying that you're, like you're going to go strong. You're not just going to fade out. You're not just kind of, using things for certain, benefits, right? So I think that at this point, they kind of use it as more of a vetting process when you apply. So I think it changes I think it changes from week to week with them, as far as how they respond and what they do.
Right. So you're saying you have to be a little bit more consistent with how you're approaching your content.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I would say is, if you're striving to, I'd say if you're striving to be a CCP member, it would be come up with something very unique and do it to the best you can. Apply and just accept, like I wouldn't become a content creator to get into the CCP, like if that's your goal, but I would say that would be a nice benefit to your content is how I would kind of view it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Sure.
So, shoot, I don't know.
Was that what you had?
Yeah.
No, for sure. No, I saw Ross. Welcome. Thanks for joining me, man. I saw that he asked. He asked like which champ is the biggest pain to fight against. That's a great question, man. I find probably Korg and Thing to be the worst, depending on, I guess, who I use now. But yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, that's. I think that's one of the things that like I always lack as far as like leadership goes. When people ask me, they're like, "Oh, like who should I use for X6 and who should I use for that?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like Google it. Like like not in like a mean way. Like not in like a mean way or anything, but it's like, I don't know, just Google it. There's a whole bunch of people out there that will answer your question, where like I focused more on why is this person want to leave my alliance after 2 days? Like as opposed to and then I'd be like, oh look, there's some resources I need. Let me put my head down and go get it. So I don't even know if I'm like, even like moderately skilled at the game as far as anything goes. But I do enjoy it. And I do enjoy playing the game. But I guess probably to answer the question directly, probably Korg is the one I hate playing the most.
Yeah, I found another question. So, have you gone through all of the new Cavalier EQ, and are you going to do it with 4 stars?
I don't, like I was just saying, I don't think I'm skilled enough to do it with 4 stars. Maybe now, since those kind of like buffs are a little better, I might try to give it another go. But yes, no, I did actually do this most recent EQ with I did go like kind of do the initial clear. I found it pretty nice. I also felt like those buffs, those additional cosmic, cosmic, I was just thinking because I destroyed the Immortal Abomination with Hyperion. But like those additional class buffs were very nice, and I luckily have a big roster, so I could pretty much take a lot of the top champs in for that. So I found it pretty good. I haven't like gone in and explored it, so I don't really know what I'm in for moving forward. But yeah, no, I have gone through and I found it, as far as the initial clear goes and kind of on the easy path side, I found it pleasurable. But I feel like if there was more, like, I feel like I would, like, the rewards for the initial clear just sucked. And that we're not even getting any gamma shards or radiation or whatever, even just kind of sucked even more.
Oh, you're not getting gamma radiation for the clears?
Not in Cavalier, no.
Really?
No, because
but they didn't put it in Cavalier.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, right? So they said that it wasn't supposed to be in normal; it was supposed to be in Cavalier, and it just ended up on the other side of the scale, I guess. which I don't know. Yeah, I call BS.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
you know, and I feel like we're all kind of allergic to their BS these days.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
especially with the last like 2 or 3 months. I mean, it seems like the side events have just been bugged as soon as they come out. So,
Right. Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
like some of the rewards are cool and all, but yeah, I mean, I guess just probably the engaging content, um, is not there, which is sad. Like, you know, and something I found interesting, um, today, which is interesting. Like, so I go to that site,
yeah,
duneres.sk or whatever, right?
yeah,
A guy does an awesome website. I love the content he makes there, but there's a big notice and warning on his site where he's like over the game. He's taking a break. He's not updating the website anymore. So, it does seem like a lot of people are like taking a break now, huh?
yeah. No, it really does seem like that. I mean, there's a couple of people in my alliance even that have even after we've switched to two BGs and war, they're just like, man, we're just getting burnt out. So I mean,
Yeah, for
I can
sure,
totally
man. So,
understand where it comes from because AQ hasn't changed and neither is War. I mean, War. The only thing that's changed about War is the nodes, really. But I mean,
yeah, you know,
you
and
know,
luckily it did say that they are looking to like kind of revamp it. So, you know, let's see where that goes. But yeah, no, it for sure just kind of stagnant.
right? I totally agree. And I feel like for me, as somebody who's pushing, not really pushing for Thronebreaker because I'm not. Let's just put it that way. I'm just making my way through Act Five. I feel like there's too much uh, push towards AQ and War to progress.
Mm,
There's not enough push to go through the acts
for
to
sure.
progress anymore
Absolutely.
for me.
No, and I think that that's like, I feel like that was one of the things that um, like I miss of the game, right? Was kind of going in and exploring and having all that done. And I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe just because again, like I, you know, was a leader and all that stuff, I didn't necessarily have the time in between, you know, like AQs and stuff to, you know, kind of go in and enjoy that time because, you know, sometimes I'd just be like, I need a break, you know, like just,
Right.
you know, let me get away for 24 hours. But yeah, no, I totally agree. And I am actually like, so I'm not leading on my main account. Like I'm not leading anymore. Like I just kind of have it in the casual alliance in the community. So it's been nice. I've been looking forward. I haven't totally gotten, you know, kind of to playing, which I guess makes sense and all, but I'm not like forced to open it. So I'm not like, you know, kind of like playing or whatever, but, I'm looking forward to like you're saying, kind of go back in the story mode and play it and use different champs for like, you know, like different parts of the game as opposed to just using the same 6 champs, you know, every day,
Right.
which I mean, I get
Or
like,
even doing it variant or something,
yeah,
in between.
exactly. You
Yeah.
know, and I get that like, you know, I don't know. It's like I get that, you know, like it's like our decision, right, to use those 6 champs in both of those modes every day, but at the end of the day, it's hard to, you know, take up, you know, champs for resources and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's not like they build it a way, you know, when they release new champs and they suck, especially like, you know, it's like, I mean, I get
Well,
this whole
yeah.
rebalance and everything like that, but like, you know, I mean, I feel like they can do it in a better manner at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Balance.
totally agree.
And I don't know,
Um.
maybe if it's like the AQ, like who we're fighting, right? I mean, or they just, you know, because you do want variation at the end of the day, right? Like you don't want all the champs to necessarily be the same. You know, you don't want them all to
Right.
just be like Corvus. You don't want them all to just, you know, be like, you know, you want them all to be a little different. So, I mean, I understand the the goal, I guess. But yeah, no, they definitely. Hopefully, the rebalancing team that I supposedly is coming up pretty soon here, right? They're starting to be building it, as opposed to their, or as you know, as they said in their roadmap kind of check-in. The team
Right.
is starting to build, so hopefully the rebalancing goes quicker, and it's, you know, definitely more fun to use champs like Groot and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and hopefully they have I saw they're putting in a new like Alliance Warp or like boss or something like that. The I can't remember what it was. It was like a everybody fights one boss, giant boss in your alliance
Oh
or
yeah, like a
something.
yeah, you know, something like that. Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
That
look
would be
forward
kind
to
of
kind of
cool.
seeing what they're
Uh,
doing for sure, man.
I'm pretty much out of stuff here.
Cool, man.
Anybody they actually got a question, or do you have any questions from the YouTube?
What are you working on next, Moose?
What am I working on next? That's a good question. Currently working on the Incursions trophy. Um, like I was set to do that, you know, kind of this week and things like that. But, we all pitched in and helped out for, Tom Harrington's, little fundraiser with the People's Champ and stuff, which we're going to hop back into after this. But yeah, so I was going to work on that, but I need to finish the Incursion trophy crystal. I got it pretty much all, I guess done for the most part. There's some, kind of minor tuning and things I need to do before I start making some molds of it. So I can make some, I'm really looking forward to it. There's going to be some cool stuff involved, but yeah, so, the Incursion trophy is the next thing along with the Battle Realm radio.
Um, how long does that take to print that incursions crystal?
So the actual trophy is about a foot or taller. It's at least a foot tall. It's like a foot tall, foot and a half. And that took. I also did it in pieces. It probably took maybe like 2-3 days at the end of the day to print.
It's a long
Yeah.
time. Something to print.
Yeah, no, for sure. It takes a long time because like, so like there's two different styles of printers. There's, the one that has kind of the resin and then the one that has like the plastic, kind of like real, like ribbon, if you will, or whatever.
Yeah.
And, each one just works so wildly differently. So like the one with the resin, that one, there's no like time frame because it's just each layer is 2 seconds or whatever. Whereas the other one, each layer can be like an hour, where one layer could be 10 minutes and another layer could be like 2 hours. So like, I don't know. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so some of the stuff, like right now I'm printing a crystal that is about 7-8 inches tall, and that's gonna take like 36 hours.
Wow.
And then it'll probably take me like 2 or 3 days of like post processing, kind of sanding, smoothing it out and stuff, and painting it before it's actually
Making
done.
it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, making it look pretty.
For sure. Now this one's gonna be cool, man. Somebody hit me up, and so I've already started working on like a crystal for the Symbiotic Empire, like the logo, right? The logo that I've made there.
Yeah.
So this crystal, I just kind of like enlarged it a little bit, and the like the center, so it's just the center venom head is on the front
Yeah.
of this crystal, so it's gonna look cool.
That's pretty cool.
I'll definitely share it when I get it.
Let's talk about your Patreon. What's coming up next this month?
Okay, for sure. Yes, thank you for bringing that up, and yes,
no
thank you
problem.
both for being Patreon members. Definitely appreciate it. That's another thing that's actually that's coming up next week. Is I need to finish the Professor X helmet, which I'm totally pumped on. I finally got some wires because I kept trying to print it, and I kept trying to print it with like the wires that's on the side of his helmet, right? And just how small that is. It's and how 3D printing works when you have to like build supports and all that stuff. It makes it very difficult and fragile. So I kept breaking it, and I'm not like a gentle person with my hands. So like I just broke it almost like every time I took it off. So I just modeled it. I took the wires off and printed it. So there's actually going to be like actual like like hard like metal wires on the sides of it when I ship that out.
Nice.
So that's one thing I've been working on, and that's coming up. That's will ship out to you guys next week. I got the Spectra crystal, which was delayed because I actually ran out, but like where I got the mold from, like the silicone mold making stuff. they ran out and like back order and stuff, you know, the whole pandemic and all that stuff. And just on top of me being, you know, I guess biting way more off than I could chew. Yeah, again, the whole my eyes are bigger than my stomach thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that I'm making that one too. So busy week, but that one's that's all set up. I just gotta pour it, which you know takes some time.
Right.
But yeah, no, I've been thinking about like kind of I don't know, making like videos or I don't know. Are you guys on TikTok?
I don't. I'm not.
Yeah,
No.
no.
My
Yeah,
my
okay, fair
girlfriend
enough.
is.
I was just curious. I kept meaning to like ask people in the MCOC community if they are, because like you know, like my girlfriend, she's on there, and that's just kind of how just a lot of I don't know news gets passed. Just I was just wondering if people were on there because I was gonna make little like TikTok videos of me like creating these things, and I was just wondering if anybody was on there to see it. Maybe I'll just do YouTube or something. Yeah,
You could do TikTok. I mean, people still might look at it.
for sure. Get a whole new community or a whole new set of fans, I guess.
Yeah. A whole new fan base. Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go.
Hell
But,
yeah.
yeah. I think
Cool,
I'm all
man.
out of stuff to talk about, man.
For sure. Oh yeah, no, for sure. So JX, what you said, I hope the new opponents come to spice it up. Marvel. Oh, so you're talking about like, oh, an AQ. Oh, that'd be cool.
Mhm.
Oh, Hydra agents. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I thought
Marvel
they were gonna do it.
zombies.
They never did.
Oh yeah, they did Doombots. I really hate the Doombots. I mean, they're not
Science
terrible.
Doombot
The
is
Mystic
the
dude. I
only
hate the Moose.
good
I
one.
hate the Mystic Doombot. He sucks.
But
He's the worst. But here, let me kick Craig out. Or should I mean, are we done? Yeah, are we done? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay. All right, cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, JX, for you know hanging out with us, and I appreciate all those questions you asked me, Nick. They were cool.
Yeah, dude. No problem.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I'll probably catch you tomorrow on the podcast.
Yep, I guess you probably will, huh?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, you have a fantastic rest of your night, all right, man?
Yeah, you too, dude.
All right. Peace out.
Yep.
Bye.
Later, Jax. Have a good
Later,
night,
See ya.
guys.
Thanks, man.
JX, are you going to go hop over back into his stream?
Yeah, and I
What
think
are you
Market's streaming too, so
Oh, he is? Cool. Is he on Twitch?
yeah. Oh, he's about to start, I think.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll pop that open too. I'm just working on. I'll send you a picture of this thing I'm working on. These like this guy in our community makes like guides for champs, and I was gonna make like little stat cards and like kind of like '90s trading cards vibe. Stat cards. I'll show you in a minute, but I've been working on those while I've been hanging out in that stream.
Nice, yeah. I actually I tried to collect some trading cards from the 90s. I have a couple.
Nice. I think I still have some. I don't know where they went. I think I do. I'll have to look for them. I think I might have gotten rid of them.
Yeah, I doubt you noticed this, but like trading card openings have just out of nowhere started trending with Pokemon.
No
and
shit. Huh.
I was like, wow, okay.
That's
It was
interesting.
super weird.
No, I had no idea. That's funny. Cool.
Pretty
All
cool,
right,
though.
man. Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping by, and yeah, I'll catch you. I'll catch you later.
Yeah, man.
Peace out, man. Later, dude.
Bye.
Google's just having a day to.
Double P's joined the chat. How you doing, buddy?
Welcome back, Double P. How you doing?
There you
Queen Sarah says I can't do one push-up.
go.
Actually, Queen Sarah, we ended up doing 270 push-ups last month.
Jeez.
Slayer of Gods has returned. Welcome back. Yeah,
Dude, how?
I'm pretty sure Google would probably delete you, me, and everybody else, Dragon. Like, they're just doing whatever they want today.
It is a god mod. It is a god mod.
Spidey says he's going to bed soon.
All right.
270 push-ups is nothing for Tom. Yeah, that is something. Especially if I got to do it all at
Goku
once.
is better than Superman. Yeah.
Oh no,